We start with these wonderful box sets from Japan. They were given to me by Daisuke Beppu, who you might know from his Criterion YouTube channel. I'll include a link below. But I came to know Daisuke through Laserdisc Forever when he first started posting videos. And then eventually he left Japan and is now in Los Angeles, but still keeps up his Criterion videos. He found these for me. I wanted them because of this incredible artwork on each of the jackets. This is volume 1 of the box sets, featuring John Ford, Jimmy Cagney, Orson Welles, Betty Davis. If I open this, you will see that it's empty because the art is hanging on my walls. This is volume 2, Henry Fonda, Alfred Hitchcock, and James Stewart. Now, I'm pretty sure there were 2 other volumes. Those have been elusive. Daisuke couldn't find them. I have not seen them pop up ever. I wonder if they actually came out. This has this great little booklet inside. These were TV specials in the US, and these were the Japanese releases of those. And just, again, incredible art. I probably should look up the artist who did these, but as you can see, they're really, really amazing. That's why they're up on my wall. Next we have The Arrival, the Charlie Sheen sci-fi film from the late 90s. This is the box set version, widescreen, AC3, contains a bunch of extras. A documentary exclusive to Laserdisc at the time, commentary from the writer-director David Twohy. Really unique sci-fi movie that sort of developed a cult following thanks to cable TV and home video. But it's a lot of fun. And this is the Pioneer Special Edition. They do some really amazing box sets that you'll see coming up. Abbott and Costello Meet the Monsters. Now, growing up in New York in the 70s and 80s, Saturday morning TV, or Sunday morning rather, at about 10 or 11 a.m., we'd always get to see an Abbott and Costello movie. And these were, of course, the best. The Mummy, Invisible Man, Jekyll and Hyde, and Frankenstein. This collects all 4 of those classics. Really a must-have for any fan. It's the only Abbott and Costello stuff I have. It's the most rewatchable stuff. I know I joke that I'm old, but I'm not that old. Not old enough to really have liked music from the 30s and 40s, but for some reason I really enjoyed big band stuff, more so the 20s and 30s than the 40s, but there's this really cool box sets. Cavalcade of Vitaphone shorts. These are all short films, which at the time were music videos of all the great band leaders and bands of the time. This is volume 1. And this sealed copy is volume 2, a 7th anniversary celebration. We've got Al Jolson, Bob Hope, everyone you'd expect to see in here. Really great MGM box set. Now, box sets, if you get them used, tend to be really banged up, so it's always nice to find one still sealed, because you can at least preserve it in better condition. Next, one of my favorite films, The Big Blue. This is the French long version from Luc Besson. It features the alternate score from Eric Serra, and it is the longer running time with a slightly more, perhaps tragic ending, which was altered for the US. Really nice box set with a map of the action in the film, where it takes place. Really amazing. Credits, and look at this full color insert. Just amazing. If you haven't seen this, you must. And continues with the great sleeve. And yet even more. This is just sort of another inner sleeve to hold the actual discs. Just incredible production on this box set. Le Grand Bleu. From D.W. Griffith, The Birth of a Nation. An important film for many reasons, and not always good ones. but this was the first sort of real blockbuster, big scope entertainment. In 1915, it was the highest grossing silent film ever. It also led to what many believe was the glorification of the KKK. The film is based on a play called The Klansman, and it was controversial then, and it's controversial still. But it is a piece of history that's sort of worth preserving for people to realize what propaganda is and was. Souvenir program is included in here. It is an epic production about the Civil War. The scene at Ford's Theater, I must have seen in school when I was young, and I thought it was actual footage from the assassination, which obviously it was not. But I keep it for posterity and historic reasons. It is not a fun film to watch, but it does set the tone for a lot of the big films coming out of Hollywood after this. 25th anniversary edition of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Nice insert. Cast and crew. One of the quintessential buddy films with an ending that you don't quite see much anymore. The Doors, one of my favorites. I love this movie. This is the hologram cover edition, Pioneer Special Edition, AC3, THX, audio commentary by Oliver Stone, and this wonderful slipcase that also opens up. Some Velcro in there. Really, just look at this. God, this is really what Laserdisc is all about. These Pioneer Special Editions are really some of my favorite packaging. And also has the movie in a gatefold. Nope, not a gatefold. Those are just stuck together. But 2 discs. Beautiful, beautiful packaging. So unique. All the Pioneer Special Editions are all unique. They don't really make the same one twice. Goldfinger, THX box set, collector's edition. Sort of that flimsy MGM packaging, but really cool inner label with the 007 logo. And this is 3 discs with very small insert. This, of course, is the cover art we would see later in the THX CLD edition, but these are very cool 007 labels, and you can also see the imagery on the sleeve. Oliver Stone's JFK. This movie blew me away when it came out. It may not make a hell of a lot of sense, and it might be stretching the truth, but that's what conspiracy theories are for. But it's still a hell of a film. This is, I wonder if this one's numbered, I don't recall. Let's check it out. These are the Warner Brothers boxes, not much going on in here, but it is a beast with 5 discs, and the liner and chapter notes right on the, printed on the inside of the box. It has its original price sticker of $149.98. And you know, we didn't think much of it. We'd pay that in the 90s for something like this. That's how unique they were. This was a wonderful series on A&E. Before reality TV and competition shows, Michael Palin went pole to pole. You'll know him from Monty Python, of course, and this was a lot of fun. He also followed it up with Around the World in 80 Days. But this is a fun time capsule from the early days of cable TV. It's got some little liner notes, chapters, and a reply card from LumaVision. They're interested in our opinion. This is a recent pickup, United Artists Goes to War, a box set of 3 UA war films from the mid to late 60s. I have not seen any of these yet, but I have been collecting later release MGM titles. This is certainly one of them. No frills box from them, but it does have 3 feature films, all widescreen. Now these are perhaps the 2 nicest box sets I've ever seen. This is another Pioneer Special Edition. You can see that inlay there of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. A disc on the left side, chapter listing here, and then notes from The Cuckoo's Nest, which is an essay from Charles Koselleck, and talks about the play and the production and just the screenplay. I mean, it's just amazing. So much packed in here. And then the second disc in here. But just a sturdy, amazing set. And likewise was the Pioneer Special Edition of Platoon. Even better. It feels like a scrapbook with the rivets here and this shiny dog tags. You open that up, you get the liner notes, and then what seems like, in the style of a scrapbook, that's actually Oliver Stone, who he based the film on his own experiences in Vietnam. If you can see this, it looks like stuff is just cut out and taped to the paper. Screenplay as well. And then the 2 discs with a gatefold. Just amazing. And it sort of has that weathered scrapbook look. These weigh a ton. Also from Pioneer, Sophie's Choice. I've actually not seen this film. I of course know what it's about and what the term refers to, but look at this work of art here. This is Meryl Streep. It looks like canvas. Open it up, and you've got the inset. Nothing too fancy here, but that cover is just amazing. And in good shape too. Widescreen transfer, commentary, 4 sides. The Universal Signature Collection of Alfred Hitchcock's original Psycho. This includes lots of stuff, a making of doc, censored scenes, newsreel footage, interestingly the shower scene without the music, and Bernard Herrmann's music score isolated on the analog tracks. It is THX. There is also, of course, a Universal Studios Signature Collection version of the shot-for-shot remake of Psycho as well. That's a later release, not as easy to find. There's the drain. From Sidney Lumet, They Shoot Horses, Don't They? With Jane Fonda. This is a numbered limited edition, 1312 of 2500, with the Lumet autograph under some plastic here. Very simple booklet on the inside. Great image of the dance marathon from the film. I've not actually watched this film in its entirety yet. I started and I need to get back to it. It's got the commentary track, notes, diagrams, trailer featurette, still gallery. It's all there from Fox. This is one of the most beat up box sets I have. I had to tape almost every corner, but it's okay. There are 6 movies in here, the Thin Man collection. William Powell and Myrna Loy. I think I've only seen the first 2, but this is a mammoth box set. Someone was selling it for $60. I'm sure it went for more originally. 10 hours and 36 minutes of Thin Man. And Thunderball. Incredible cover art. Shark, boat, jetpack. This is when Bond really became Bond as we know it now. 30th anniversary edition. Commentary on both analog tracks. Letterbox THX. Great looking transfers. Some fun liner notes similar to the Goldfinger box. You've got the 007 label, and this actually is a little lobby card. You can send this in and get this 30th anniversary poster. Look at that, in Jersey City, not too far from where I am. Another behemoth of a box, the Val Lewton collection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 movies. I've only seen Cat People, and I saw it late in life, like within a year. Really blew me away. So I really wanted to see the rest of his repertoire. It does have audio commentary during The Body Snatcher with Robert Wise. This has a hinge opening. Most of the boxes don't. Just a ton of discs. One of the most common box sets, but still an amazing black comedy from Danny DeVito, The War of the Roses. This is hinged as well from Fox. I remember seeing this in the theater. Really, really enjoyed it. I feel like there's a remake in the works. This is only a 2-disc box set. Pretty slight, but Danny DeVito was a big supporter of the format. It does have a running commentary. It has a personal introduction from DeVito, where I believe he talks about how great Laserdisc is as a format. So, must have for true Laserphiles. One of the most unique box sets is the T2 Special Edition. They released 4 of them in different colors. This is the gold one. They did a blue, red, and silver. I think the silver and the gold are the most common. I only have this one, but it has this great slipcase with Arnold. Really cool. And then 3 discs inside. Booklet as well. This is the cover most people are familiar with from the various other versions, and there are many of this movie. The best is the AC3 edition, but this is one you have to have as well, just for the box alone. This has to be on your shelf. The first of 2 versions of The Godfather, 25th anniversary widescreen edition, which simply just brings together the 3 remastered versions with the green covers. It does have some bonus interviews. Nice gatefolds. Not much else in there. These are AC3 as well. This is the Godfather trilogy, 1901 to 1980. This is the chronological version of the story that Coppola made for NBC TV. It was never supposed to be released, but yet here it is in my hand. This is a limited edition 1506. Not the best box, kind of flimsy, but it does have this nice booklet that explains the process of cutting it together. I personally don't love it chronologically. It's a nice curiosity, but especially for a first-time view, it doesn't make any sense to see De Niro doing an impression of Brando when you haven't seen Brando yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 discs, over 10 hours, and then also this great documentary called The Godfather Family, A Look Inside. All 3 films. This is not widescreen, it is open matte, 4:3, as it appeared on television at the time. Nice collector's item, something to definitely have if you're a fan of the series, but not my preferred way to watch the films. This is a box set I often forget that I own because it fits nowhere. All the other ones do fit on a regular shelf, but this one is far too tall. It's Disney's Toy Story. This is the CAV edition. It slides open. AC3, THX, letterboxed. Animation, as we know, looks really great on Laserdisc, and this one looks particularly good. Disney had a habit of not making any 2 box sets the same. If you have Fantasia or Mary Poppins, Snow White, they're all a little bit different. Just different enough to make it difficult to put on a shelf. Here's all the supplemental material contained on 2 discs. So much behind the scenes making of content. You've got audio only analog left and right channels on side 5, featuring Randy Newman's score, some unused songs, some demos, concept art, just exhaustive features here. Exclusive, commemorative, 3D lenticular artwork. Really spared no expense. Look at this beautiful 3D lenticular portrait of Woody and Buzz. Toy Story was the first film my son ever saw on Laserdisc. And finally, this softcover book called The Art of Disney's Toy Story. This is the African Queen commemorative edition. It does have the movie simply on 1 disc, but then all the extras inside include lobby cards. Really well done. And then the entire screenplay. Huge paperback bound screenplay, in addition to a hardcover book by Katharine Hepburn on the making of the African Queen. This is a legendary box set for a legendary film that would play often on TV when I was a kid, usually on a Sunday afternoon. Always watched it with my parents. Jaws. The movie that started it all. It started the summer blockbuster, and it started the Laserdisc format in 1978. This is the limited edition signature collection. Now, none of these signature collection boxes hold up very well. You see that they start to bow pretty quickly. They are not well made at all. But here's a beautiful, clean Jaws poster with the sort of fake Spielberg autograph. Lots of great stills. It's an awesome image. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 discs, and then here is where the magic is. You've got, of course, the legendary Peter Benchley novel in paperback, $5.99 back then in the US, and then the soundtrack featuring the John Williams score on CD. There is another version without the extras, a smaller CLV box, I believe, but this is the CAV box set with all the extras. It is the 50th anniversary of Jaws, so I'm sure I'll be watching it again soon. Another classic from Pioneer Special Editions, Amadeus. Just amazing. This is the Mozart Firmament. All the behind the scenes about the film and Mozart himself. Really beautiful book. These are the discs in 2 separate sleeves. And then, like Jaws, you get the music of Amadeus, which details what's on the soundtrack, as well as the original play by Peter Shaffer, which this is adapted from, as well as the CD soundtrack in a digipack, 24-bit digital. This is also a numbered limited edition, 8474 of 10,000. AC3, by the way. There is a CLV version of this that is also an AC3. Another Steven Spielberg classic, E.T. I saw many, many times in the theater when I was young. This box is holding up a little better than the other Universal boxes. Here is the inside. Very similar to the Jaws box. This was on the outside back under the shrink wrap. And you've got this ribbon so you can pull out the discs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And buried underneath is the original soundtrack CD. Also a limited edition. This is number 7713. I don't know out of how many. Perhaps 10,000. One of my first box sets was this Chaplin Mutuals. These are the complete Chaplin comedies he made in 1916 and 1917. It's just a pretty simple 3-disc set. But these were all the shorts that came before the feature films. But some really famous ones here, like The Immigrant, Fireman, Pawn Shop, The Rink, all collected here in this box set. Now, these are not box sets, but they were up on my shelf along with the box sets, and I haven't covered them earlier, so I'll show them now. These are the Fox Video Legacy of Laughter editions of all the Chaplin films, all in CAV. I think a lot of these are sealed. City Lights is my absolute favorite. One of my favorite films ever, but definitely my favorite of his, with one of the best endings you'll ever see. This is the also shorts from First National. 6 of them. Gatefold, you can see what they look like inside. The Circus, that Lasers for Less sticker, $49.99. Kid in a Dog's Life. That was a $69.98. A Woman of Paris, one of the later films. You can see that hype sticker. Limelight. The Great Dictator. Unfortunately, always timely. Modern Times, perhaps his most famous work. These are all CAV, by the way. They're fairly short films, so it's good to have them CAV. The Gold Rush. Such a famous image. And the Monsieur Verdoux, which might be his last. 1947. And so, one of my two prized possessions from Japan is this Chaplin box set. Just a beautiful cover from Pioneer, in really good condition considering it came here from Japan. Let's take a look inside. Here's the original Obi. Nice booklet. Great silhouette on the back. And then all the films individually. With this great, great artwork. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's City Lights. 8. This is a double. 9. Also a double. 10. Limelight 11. A King in New York 12. This actually might have been the last one, 1957. So just amazing. All packed into this one box. Found in the wilds of Japan and carried over by our friend Luke. I'm going to show you the spine. It's really nice. And the back, a list of all the films, chronologically. We've come to my favorite box set, the Mammoth Twin Peaks set, 29 episodes from Japan. I can't even remember how much this weighs, but it's a lot. There's the spine. Let's take a look inside. There's the Obi. This goes across the top for sure, or perhaps the bottom, but it does not go vertically. Really nice little slip-in, and this amazing thick book that goes through every episode, the entire cast, David Lynch, donuts on the back. Each disc has a different design with a nice little silhouette of David Lynch on the back. Really thick cardboard, as you'd expect from Japanese pressings. Disc 2, all different colors. I've talked about Twin Peaks a lot in the past. If you want to go back to look at some of our Wolfpack podcasts, particularly the David Lynch episode, but it was a super important moment in my life as a viewer. This, while not a film, was really important for me. It ran on broadcast television, if you can believe it, on ABC on a Sunday night. I remember where I was, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing on television. The third episode with the dwarf dancing and that infamous background we all know, I really just sort of stood up from my seat and looked around. There was no one with me. I couldn't believe that this was on my television. This acclaimed filmmaker who had done Blue Velvet was making television, and it was really the first prestige television show, and everything that's followed since owes a debt to Twin Peaks. If you watch Severance, if you watch Mad Men, Breaking Bad, anything really, all came after Twin Peaks, and it really opened the doors for auteurs and filmmakers to work in TV. It really opened the doors for auteurs and filmmakers to work in TV, which at the time was considered a step below. And now, as we all know, the sort of middle has been taken out of Hollywood. You're either super indie like Anora, or you're a blockbuster. And the middle has now moved to television. So a lot of our great auteurs and filmmakers are now making, 6 to 10 hour seasons. And this was the first of its kind. This is a bottomless box. There's our man. And one of the most terrifying figures on TV, Bob. Now, buried secretly underneath all of those is this special 8-inch disc. It was a promotional 8-inch only. You can only get it inside the box set. It contains 39 chapters, each one a different character from the show, but only 20 minutes in length. There they are, all 15 discs, 29 episodes. Must have for any Twin Peaks fan. We close with the mother of all box sets, the one that still, to this day, brings people to the format, the definitive collection of the Star Wars trilogy in widescreen. In addition to the 3 original films on 18 sides, it does contain this hardcover book called George Lucas, The Creative Impulse. All about Lucas, not only Star Wars, but other films he's produced. Now, a lot has been said and written about this collection. I'll include some links below where you can get some real details, but suffice to say, this is basically the last time you could get that original trilogy in CAV as it was presented theatrically. It was after this that things started to get tampered with. So for me, I keep this version, I keep the 3 CBS Fox Technodisc pressings of the original trilogy and Phantom Menace. Not only does it have the films, but it does have extensive supplements. scattered throughout. But these are fairly common. They made a lot of them. You shouldn't really pay more than about $50 or $60 for it, depending on the condition. But it really is something you should have on your shelf. And those are my box sets. I'm limited in the space that I have where I keep the box sets, so that's probably all I'll have at this point, outside of any Criterion box sets, a Woodstock box, maybe one other, but essentially these are all the big, oversized box sets and collections that I own. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.